Welcome back, everyone, to episode 5 of the Jader and Kyle Show, a show where we talk about a movie, break it down, talk about the world of cinema, what's going on there, movie news, some Schmodown talk. We can talk about some franchises. We do a lot on this show. And sorry about last week, guys. Last week was a very busy week. 4.5 hour long episode, but we broke down a lot of the MCU movies. We did every single one, but more in detail than others. It was a long time, and we were exhausted after that. So I promise you to be a lot shorter show. But it's not just me doing this, Kyle. It's also my buddy Jader. Jader, what's up, man?
How's it going, guys? How are you, Kyle? How are you, sir?
How you feeling after last week?
I didn't even know we were gonna have a show this week. I thought we were good. I thought we were good for two whole weeks of vacation time, man.
You know, it's interesting because you think about these shows going into it. You're like, hey, this is gonna be fun. We can talk about these movies. We have a lot to say. We don't think that it's gonna take 4.5 hours to talk about all the movies and not even get into detail about some of them. Just like we completely
There's some that we were just like, hey, yeah, no, we like it, we didn't like it. Everybody, yes, boom, and we moved on. But there's some that we did dive in deep, and deservedly so. I Guardians, like we said, that's one that we took a long time on, and even the first Iron Man, and I feel like they deserve that that spotlight. So
yeah.
bad,
Well, so next week, guys, look out. We are going to rank all 23 MCU movies, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to be fun next week. But this week we will be
definitive, right? That's the definitive. It's going to be the definitive MCU list. Ranking.
We'll do it. We'll each have our own, and then we'll try to combine them and see how that goes. Although Guardians 2 is probably going to create a divide within this show.
Oh, yeah.
But this week we're talking about game night. Well, you guys vote on comedies, and game night was the winner. So we'll get to that later. But first, something big happened. We talk about Schmodown on the show every now and then, and I have one of the players in it on the show who is one of the more significant players right now in the news. I guess there was trades that happened this past week. Christian announced that there's a trade deadline coming up and free agency is coming up. A lot of stuff's happening, and Jader was unfortunately part of the biggest trade of the weekend. So, Jader, how you feeling, man? How'd it go when you first got that news?
I'm feeling good. It was kind of crazy because we were, me, my girlfriend and my best friend, we were just hanging out and, we had some dinner, we drank some beers, and we were playing some dominoes, listening to music, chilling. And then all of a sudden I just see my phone is nonstop blowing up with, messages on Facebook, text messages from different people. But what the main person that texted me was Sam and Rachel. And it was like, and when I saw that, I was like, oh no. I had a feeling like it was one or two things. It's like, hey, we got you into a match because I've been wanting to play. Or it was like, hey, you got traded. And when I saw the long text, I'm like, shit. I got traded.
Now you know how NFL players feel when they get
honestly traded. Yeah, I've been thinking about that all the time. I'm like, man, it must suck to get traded. And the thing is that not everybody knows. No player knew, given the CEO or what have you of the creator of the show. He wanted everything to be kept under wraps, this is how you're gonna find out, via Twitter, via message, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they even did a live broadcast last minute, with the show that breaks down the show, Schmodown Rundown.
Yeah.
And I was getting messages from that guy. From Brad Gilmore and Frank Janis, hey, dude, how do you feel? And I'm like, what the? And I'm still trying to read through the first, through that long text. And I got the heads up that I got traded to a different team. It is what it is, to be honest with you. I am new in the league, so I understand why, even coming off, the win that I did have in the Schmodown, which is one of the, it's no secret. We have a strong team, but luck hasn't been on our side, and the few points that the usual suspects do have, I contributed to that.
Yeah.
You get me? I was one of the points that they got. And but I understand why I got traded. They needed to fill in the space for McWeeny. and he's a big time player, and him retiring from the league. I understand why they didn't why they didn't get rid of you know of a Janine, obviously, who's starting that fight.
She's
Matt
more
Atchity.
established. Yeah, yeah.
So I understand. I'm the rookie. I'm the new guy. But it kind of feels good, I guess, to see that I was involved in a big trade, because it's been mayhem, to be honest with you. Everybody, my Twitter feed has never blown up as much as it has. Everything I've been with the retweets and what's going to happen and the messaging, and everybody's been really really cool about it, to be completely honest with you. A lot of people have been like, it sucks that you got traded, but we're rooting for you, man. There's some, one of my friends out there, Kevin. He told me, he goes, man, out of all teams, the Droogs, I cannot root for that team. And he goes, but I will be rooting for you, man. He goes, but damn, he's like, this
Well,
is crazy.
let's talk about that. So, well, first of all, the details of the trade was Ethan Irwin was traded to the usual suspects, your former team, for you, Ken Knapsack, and a first round pick. This is
Yeah,
interesting to me because basically Robert Byron Burnett is saying, I want a Star Wars player, I want a young rookie, and I've got my team. But I'm really playing for next year. If one of these people turns out to be a champion, great, I can hold on to them. But now next season, I have 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and based on another trade that just happened, he's got two third-round picks now. So
yeah.
he's got 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. That's pretty significant for a league it's getting bigger and bigger every year, but there's so many great players that like, get 5 of them right away is something special. So I can see why Burnett did it, and then from Sam's side, you can see why he did it too, because he needed someone to replace McWeeny, like you said, and now McWeeney's got value with a #1 contender spot, and he's also going to be teaming up with Guy, which they're going to go out next. So, or
Yeah.
Janine, they'll reunite that team. So, but on your end, it sucks for you, man, because I talk to you, we communicate. I know how much you love being a part of that faction, being able to talk with Janine and with Guy and all of them on your faction. And they were really helping you study, helping you get better and better. And now, just because of, turf warfare, you can't really do that as much. So it sucks, man. But how you taking this in? How are you feeling after this? What's coming after this for you?
Like I said, I'm a rookie in the league. I've only done one match. Obviously came out with the W. I'm really happy. Let's say that I wouldn't be drafted in the usual suspects. Let's say Robert Mario Burnett would have drafted me instead of James White. Like for me, I'm just happy to be in a league, in a team. We have people that are free agents that don't even know if they're going to be able to play. I'm, at least in a team, I'm protected, I guess, in that way. And we'll see. Like, there's talks right now where some people are interested and might ask for a trade to get me to a different team. I'm just gonna show up, man. Whether I stay a Droog or go elsewhere, I'm gonna show up, do what I do, and win some matches, and we'll see how it goes, man.
So, what do you think the difference is going to be between Sam Levine being your manager and Robert Byron Burnett?
Dude, it's like night and day, man. I don't even know if I'm gonna have any microphone time to talk. I think
You got to work on your evil laugh.
I'm just gonna have to show up and do the trivia part. But when it comes to the promo videos, I think he's gonna have that on lock, man.
Here's the thing. I told you going into this, like, man, all the fans who joined this league are always heels. Chance and Paul and all of them. You're like, oh man, we don't need more heels. And then I told you, please don't be a heel. Be a face. Be a good guy. And you were in a perfect position to be that. And now you're in the Droogs. There's going to be quite a difference. Something's going to be pulling you the other direction.
So I think that'll work in an interesting storyline, to be completely honest with you, because I'm no heel, and that's one of the things that Christian was nice enough on the show yesterday that he shouted me out, and he said that he's like that I'm one of his favorite new competitors. He goes, he knows where he knows the ropes of the game, plays it really well, but respects the game, respects who's come before him, and he's just trying to make his own mark on his own pace and not talking shit about it. It's what do you use the word, like etiquetteness on the whole Schmodown thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking about that in the morning as well. I've been thinking about this for 24 hours already. So ever since I got the news, I'm like, man, this is crazy, you know? Um, but one thing that I thought was, I'm like, how is this dynamic going to work? You know, because I'm not a heel,
No,
you know? Even with it, I can be, I guess. I don't know. It's not me. And
no,
especially
you
at
don't
this,
have a bad bone in your body. You're not.
but it you know, and exactly that. Like, I'm just grateful to be in here. So I feel like it'll work, you know. But it's kind of like how Guy was in my promo where he's like, man, you're being too humble. And I'm just there like, yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here. I feel like it will work, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. And we'll see if I even stay on the team. We don't know what's going to happen. We have till Monday to find out where everybody's going to stay put. I think trades can happen throughout, but I feel like the main things that are the main changes are going to be said Monday, I think 8 p.m. here or 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not really sure.
I think he was
But
talking about Harloff was talking about SDN Live being a spot where a lot of things are going to announce maybe after SDN Live, something like that.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the story's done yet, and there's a lot more to it. I was just listening to SDN Live from today, and he was saying that he was getting texts throughout of a bunch of stuff happening. So there's a lot of inner workings going on. If you do end up staying on the Drews, which is a very likely possibility, he made sure he got you. You have Whitney and Alonzo on that faction. You know, Brandon Hanna on that faction. I feel like you could learn something.
And we have our fellow Miami Dolphins fan Ken, which I know he's a Star Wars only, but which one thing I am interested to see is heel Ken with our Robert Meyer Burnett heel, and that's going to be very, very interesting to see as well.
Well, what's going to happen now is that Ken's a Star Wars player, and the Star Wars tournament is the first thing they're really getting back into the groove with. So Ken and Robert are going to have to work together immediately, right off the bat. And Ken's a great player too, so he's going to have to move up and up and up.
Ken is a former Star Wars champion.
Yes,
and that's one thing. That's another thing that I'm kind of like not worried, but I feel like they're focusing so much on Star Wars and IG leagues, where I'm kind of just like, twiddling my thumbs, like when are we gonna get a shot? But I even told them, I'm like, dude, I don't know. I was on call to action this week, and they were like, do you want to be in teams? And I'm like, I'll do anything that I can. I was even thinking about asking Sam, saying we didn't really have any IG players, that I'll join the Inner Geekdom League, just the tournament, for just to wet my beak a little bit, But now I think, if I'm not, Brandon is the IG player in our team, so he's definitely gonna play now,
And he's looking for redemption. Brandon Hanna, he's getting a lot of crap.
Do you blame him?
I'm not a fan of the guy he lost. No, I don't blame him for getting crap. He didn't know as much as Chandru did. But I hate the way Chandru treats people. I mean, he's so condescending in his ways. So I really hope Smith smashes him in. And Hanna maybe can get revenge on him in the tournament somehow. I don't know. But yeah,
I'm talking about. I don't know if you heard about. Hanna was in the den. And Hanna was their IG player. That's who they picked up. But Kate decided to put in Ben Goddard and Sal over Hanna. And that's where this whole controversy started, where I think he wanted a trade because he's like, I want to play.
So that's interesting to me is I feel like Kate probably had that deal in place before she made the announcement that these two are going to be in the tournament. So that's why Hanna wasn't in it. Because if Kate just didn't want Hanna in the tournament at all, that's just dumb on her part. I'm sorry. It's really stupid. You really think Saul or Ben Goddard is going to be better than Brandon Hanna, who's proven? No, not a good idea. So, it's this Schmodown is about to get very interesting. I'm glad it's getting back in full swing because
me too, man. It was, it sucks. Obviously, it would have been this season would have been
huge
mayhem.
Yes,
it's huge, and because of this bullshit, everything was just put on pause. Like again, just me being a rookie, had three matches lined up. 2 matches lined up, and the free for all. you know, and it sucks that it's where everybody's really hoping for like Collision and things like that, but I don't think that's even gonna happen.
Unless
I
it's all number one contender stuff right away. But I feel like they're waiting on for, like you said, as a singles player, you're really sitting back right now because they're doing IG and Star Wars. I think they're hoping they want to be able to be back in the studio so that you singles players can get in there and get more of that camera time. Because what's for you is you won that competition. You have a story behind you, and you won your first match. You don't want your second match to be this virtual stuff, you know?
I feel I exactly that. They were talking about taking a vote if they should just call it the season. It is what it is. Take it as a loss, and then we'll wait until next year. And a lot of people don't want. I personally don't want that, but I also don't want it to be virtual because there's nothing like being in that studio. It's just a different feeling.
I'd rather have virtual though than nothing at all. I think
Exactly, and that's where I stand on it as well. I'd rather have a virtual one than nothing at all. Even so I'll take what it is, but like again, there's no feeling like being in that studio, you know. So
yeah. I mean, and if for some reason Harloff listens to this, Christian, virtual free for all. I think it'd be a great idea. People love that event, and then you could get another free for all right away again next year. It could work. I mean, we run the StreamYard stuff. You just switch people in and out. So I think it could be really fun. Take a lot of work behind the scenes, but I think you guys could pull it off. And then fans will really get into it because it's so much fun to watch every single year. And Bibiani can stand in his house and see what that looks like.
yeah, there you go.
All right, so that's enough for Schmodown talk. Let's move on. We didn't really get to talk about news last week. There was a big story that happened last week that we were going to get into, but then our podcast would have been 5.5 hours. And the thing was, Universal put out Trolls World Tour on PVOD, which is paid video on demand. And Universal came out and said that Trolls was a huge success for them. They made like $120 million off of people buying it. And even though that's not going to get them to profitability, it's still way more than anyone could have imagined. So they were bragging about it. They were saying that they're going to be doing more of this in the future. They'll be doing theaters and paid video on demand. And AMC immediately came out and said, all right, screw you guys. We're not going to show any of your movies from here on out. And then shortly after, Regal and Cinemark both jumped on AMC's bandwagon and said, yep, we're right there with them. We're not going to be showing any of Universal's movies either. So that takes out Fast and Furious, Jurassic World, the Minions movies. I'm sure I'm forgetting. Oh, Halloween. The stuff. So, yeah, that takes out a lot of stuff right there. So Universal came out and did apologize a little bit, but nothing's been settled yet. So what are your thoughts on this? How do you see this shaking out?
All right, so what I heard originally was that Universal, because at first I was like, AMC, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to say we don't want Universal movies and give it to your competitors? Because I'm like, Universal brings revenue. There's a lot of money in Universal. Fast and Furious alone, Fast and Furious and Jurassic World,
they're huge.
Those are huge box office hits. So I didn't understand. Then I started reading, and what I understand from a theater owner's perspective, what's going on, because Universal said that they were going to release the movie in theater and then release it on VOD because, they get a certain percentage. So when they release the movie in VOD, I think they keep like 80% of the revenue, and 20% goes to the streaming services or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
While if you do it in an AMC theater or a theater chain, I think they keep 60%. So obviously this is a smarter move for Universal because if I'm not mistaken, I was reading that Trolls World Tour did, I think, like 90 to 100 million or something. Some crazy ass number, to be honest with you, where it brought in movies. Obviously, everybody's stuck at home. What are you going to do? You're going to watch movies, Yeah. So I understand why AMC got pissed. But I feel like this is more of a, how do you say this? Like a negotiation tactic, if you will. As in, we're going to threaten you. Because even in their statement, they wrote, we are willing to negotiate with Universal. But as of right now, as of today, we will not be showing any Universal movies. Regal they didn't follow suit completely. They said what I read, and again, I don't know. I read something maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. It wasn't yesterday, unless something changed. I think if I read that Regal said that they are willing to play ball with Universal, do what releasing. They're not gonna stop. However, if they do the VOD stuff like same weekend where it hurts the theater revenue, then they will stop. They will pull Universal films from their theater as well. Regal said that. I don't think it's completely a. They're playing ball for now. I don't think they've jumped with AMC, but they said they are willing to do what AMC did. Had they if Universal doesn't play ball with the theaters.
Well, the
So
big
it's an
one,
interesting take on both sides. To be completely honest with you, it's all business. At the end of
yeah,
everything, it
but
is
the
business.
big thing to look at is it's not just AMC, it's NATO, which is the National Association of Theater Owners. They're pissed about this too. They were pissed that Trolls got put on video on demand in first place, but they also understood it because of COVID-19 and all this that's happening. They needed to make money somehow. What better than put a kids movie out? Parents can buy it multiple times, and kids are gonna love watching it over and over again. So it
You know
makes
what's crazy? Not to interrupt, but my kids had no interest in watching it. I got it for
yeah.
them, and they did, and I still haven't seen it. It's there. I haven't seen it yet. But saw the first like 20 minutes of it, and my daughter was like, "I don't like Trolls anymore." And I walked out. I'm like, "Dude, what the hell, man?" And the thing is crazy is, you know how I feel about rock and metal music, and it has a lot of rock in it.
Yeah.
So I was like super looking forward to the soundtrack, and nothing, man. They just did not want to see it.
It's their loss. You watch it yourself. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much, exactly.
You're so ungrateful. But now other studios are following suit. We have Scoob coming out in about a week. Warner Brothers film. We have Disney's putting Artemis Fowl out on Disney Plus. You're gonna have The King of Staten Island, which is another Universal movie that's Judd Apatow's next film, starring Pete Davidson, going straight to PVOD. And I think Seth Rogen's movie, something about American Pickle, is going to HBO Max. So a lot of these big budget films, or not big budget, but these films that were intended for theaters are now going straight to video on demand. So what's going to happen now with these other studios? Are all these chains going to get mad about that? From AMC standpoint, I completely understand where they're coming from. I actually support AMC on this because, and all the other chains, because you don't want this theatrical experience to die. And at this moment, they're being attacked more than they ever have before. They're really, I mean, people talked about it before. Theaters were dying.
They're on the verge of bankruptcy, AMC. AMC is on the verge of bankruptcy, which this is why I understand that they feel the way that they feel. Like, I'm with you 100%. At first, I was like, AMC, you idiots. What are you doing? But reading into it, I was like, hey, like, it's this is how they make their money, you know?
Yeah,
like
they're on their back right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's one of those things where if a business is up against the wall, they're gonna fight back, and that's what the theater owners are doing right now. They don't want this experience to die. And all these other studios, they claim that they care about the theatrical experience, and I truly do believe they do. But I think Universal was a victim of its own ego, and it was bragging, like, "Oh well, we did, like how great Trolls did," and the theater said, "All right, that's enough of that." So, how do you see this all shaking out? Because to me, I'd say Universal caves, because you have Fast Furious 9, you have Jurassic World, blah blah blah. Yeah, those are all huge, but if you have no theaters to play them in, how much money are you really going to make? Even though Trolls did great, they're not profiting yet off this film because they lost a lot of the marketing budget. So,
of course.
So you're not going to make your money back just by doing PVOD. So how do you see this shaking out?
Same. I'm with you 100%. Universal will cave, I feel. I feel like what I don't think that they released Trolls to spike theaters or anything like that. They did it because obviously, they made this film, they need to see some sort of revenue. They released it, they saw that it worked, and they're like, hey, maybe we can do this. I think they were trying to play slick. Mm-hmm. And maybe they didn't think that AMC was gonna shut that shit down.
Yeah.
So I think that eventually Universal will. There's no way once theaters get everyone, at least in the the world that we live in. There's so many people that are dying to go to the theater.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, yeah, they get 50 to. I mean, I said that they get like what 80% of the revenue when they release the movie on VOD versus getting their 60%. But renting a movie or buying a movie is $20 to one home. You can see for $20, you can 6 people can watch this movie versus going to the movie theater where you have to pay practically $20 a person to see a movie.
Well, the theaters. Where the theaters make their money most is from the concessions.
Yeah, of course.
Popcorn, your drinks, and all that. And that's why these big films do so well for the theaters is because you have all these people coming in to watch these huge movies, and they want to shove their face in popcorn and get the drinks and stuff. It's like a symbiotic relationship that works out.
And it is, because let me tell you, before I was one of those where I wouldn't buy any concession because my $20 ticket was already like, I'm like, dude, if I go here and then blow another 20, it's $40 for a 2-hour experience or whatever. So I always try to cut down on but once I started getting my AMC card, I noticed that I would get snacks all the time. And that line in the concession, every time we do a screener, that concession line is never empty.
Yes.
It's always, and they're not cheap. Like I said, for a box of candy or popcorn and a large soda, you're automatically, that's like $23-24 easy for one of the items and a drink.
Yeah. And I can only imagine going back now. I can see those prices going back up because these theaters are struggling.
Everything's gonna get more expensive, man. Unfortunately, this is what's gonna happen now. It's gonna be the new norm. Right now, we're enjoying the hell out of these gas prices, and as soon as everything goes back to normal, prices are gonna spike up, and we're gonna, they probably here in Miami, we're probably gonna go to $4 a gallon.
Yeah,
it sucks, but that's economics. It's what it is.
It is what it is. So this story's not over yet. There's going to be a lot more coming about. Did we talk about the Oscars on the show yet? I don't remember if we did.
I don't think so.
No. So, we should mention it very quickly about how the Oscars made some rule changes based on what's going on this year. That any movie that was intended to go to theaters but instead went straight to streaming is going to be Oscar eligible. You don't have to play in theaters anymore in order to get a nomination. So that means stuff like your Trolls World Tour, your what else is there? Artemis Fowl. You have The Lovebirds, which is coming out on Netflix in 2 weeks. But most importantly is Netflix rolling in here with their David Fincher and Spike Lee movies. Spike Lee just announced that his new film, The Five Bloods, comes out June 12th now on Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah. Chadwick Boseman, Paul Walter Hauser. It's about the Vietnam experience.
I'm very excited for that film. I'm very excited for that
that's
film.
That's going to be good, man.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for it. The trailer should be dropping soon, he said. I think the trailer's going to drop like within a week or two.
Yeah, so that's gonna be your first big Oscar movie. Normally, releasing it in June, you would think it might get forgotten in the conversation. But now that there's not a lot coming out,
not a lot of movies coming out, man.
Exactly, Spike Lee's gonna have his name everywhere. People are gonna be talking about this. So I think this is a very smart idea on Spike Lee's and Netflix's part.
No, and not only that, coming off of Black Klansman and successful that was, people are gonna want to see his next project, and then you got an all-star cast like you do. I'm very excited about that movie.
Yeah, and I think Netflix's problem has been that they've peaked too early with their films. Like last year, everyone thought that The Irishman or Marriage Story were like the front runners, and that died down pretty quickly. So I think if you come in here with Spike Lee's film, you got to play it right. And then they also have, like I said, David Fincher's got a film coming out on Netflix later this year, and George Clooney has got a film coming out on Netflix later this year. So Netflix might be in a good position to finally get that first big Oscar they've been craving so hard. And all luck to them. I'm gonna watch those films, especially David Fincher.
No, I can't wait for a new Fincher film. Are you kidding me? We were literally talking about he's one of the greatest directors working now, and you get a new Fincher film. It's an event, at least for us.
Yeah, and it's a movie about the writer of Citizen Kane, Charles Mack. Like it's gonna be in black and white. It's gonna be this ambitious thing. So you hear that on the surface, you're like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. But David Fincher's doing it. Okay, yeah, I'm in. I'm gonna see that. And what's even cool is the guy from I don't know if you watched Ozark yet. Ozark season 3. The
I haven't gotten to season 3 yet.
Okay, well, there's a brother character who is introduced in season 3 of Ozark who steals the show, and
Okay.
he's playing Gary Oldman's son in his new Fincher film. So I think just altogether, there's so much to be excited for. We'll get to Fincher eventually because if you guys listen to the show, you know he's one of our favorites to talk about. All right. So any last words on the Oscar stuff? Yeah, they combine the sound categories. You think any of these films going straight to streaming are going to have a chance?
The films that are coming out?
Like anything that's moved from theaters straight to streaming.
That has released? Not including what we haven't seen? Or you're talking about only movies that have been released thus far?
Just off the top of your head, anything that's saying that we were going to go to theaters, but we're going to go straight to streaming. Do you think any of these really have a chance at an Oscar? Like I could see Scoob or Trolls maybe getting those animated.
Yeah, because animated films are a lot easier than the other one. That's why. So I was gonna say maybe I even want to say Onward. Onward was pretty popular, even though it did release in the theater. I think Onward has a good chance, and it's Pixar.
Yeah.
So, but I think like regular movie that we've seen in the theater, nothing.
No.
Nothing. I mean, I would want to see Bad Boys 3 for Bad Boys for Life. In the Best Picture category, but it's not going to happen.
Let me tell you, I want to see Elizabeth Moss get recognized for Visible Man, and I want to see Ben Affleck get recognized for The Way Back. Those are the two.
I still haven't seen The Way Back. I still haven't seen it.
Great performance. It's like
I'm hearing that. Man.
You know what pisses me off too is I don't know if you saw this film, Bad Education, came out on HBO about 2 weeks ago.
No. We were talking about that. I have not sat down to see a movie in maybe 3 weeks.
Don't say that on the show. This is Schmodown competitor.
No. It's not the show at all, to be honest with you. It's just since getting back to work and the kids, and it's just been exhausting.
I completely understand, man. I'm saying Hugh Jackman would have gotten an Oscar nomination had that film been eligible. It's not going to be eligible. Same thing with The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary. That's not going to be eligible either. Those are both going to be competing for.
I haven't started that either. I have ESPN Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there on the queue, but I don't know why I have not sat down and watched it, and I'm hearing how awesome it is. I got ESPN Plus recently, and I kind of love all the documentary. It has so many 30 for 30 that I need to watch. So
it's going to be fun, man. I love this documentary so far. Once you start, you're going to be locked in. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's move on to our movie of the week. Oh, go ahead.
Let's do it. No. I had nothing. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So let's move on to our movie of the week. We decided we had done action films to start off, and we said, no, let's go for another genre now. Let's do comedy. And we decided that we wanted to do 2010 comedies because both of our other two films that we talked about were 90s films. We wanted to do something more recent. So your options were things such as This Is the End. Some of these are my favorite comedies. This Is the End, The Nice Guys, What We Do in the Shadows, 21 Jump Street, and Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping were all your options. But there was one that you guys chose above the rest, which I'm kind of surprised that actually won, which was Game Night.
That's what I was going to say. I was very surprised at this one, which I really do enjoy this film a lot, but I didn't think that it was going to – I honestly thought, if anything, I was giving it to 21 Jump Street or even The Nice Guys, which I think The Nice Guys lost by a vote, right?
2. It lost by 2 votes.
2 votes?
Along with This Is the End. Those were both tied for second place.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I was pretty shocked that this was actually picked for the movie, to be completely honest with you. I honestly didn't think this was going to win. And it was one of my picks because I feel like this movie is pretty underrated.
So here's the thing. I remember when this came out in 2018. It was February 2018. And there was, the trailer looked funny, and there had really been nothing good out that year yet. And I'm like, this movie looks like interesting. Let's see how it's going to go. We haven't had a good comedy in a while. I think this is one of the best comedies of the past 5 years. I'd say it's top 2. I think this movie is hilarious. And watching it over again, it held up great.
It holds up. It definitely holds up.
It's so smart. I was thinking you guys would go with This Is the End because I thought This Is the End is one of those beloved comedies from this past decade. I think there's a lot going on in that one. 2 that I would have loved to get picked, but I knew you guys were never going to do it, was What We Do in the Shadows and Popstar.
I knew that. I knew what we do. What we do in the shadows was not gonna get picked.
No,
it's not a very popular film.
It's not a known film. No one has
yeah,
no idea what this film
but
is.
it's so freaking funny.
Yes,
I die watching that movie. I've seen that movie a couple times already, and I just love that humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of it, you know. And it's one of those. It's another one that I think like one. You know, we let our audience pick obviously the movie. But there's gonna be one time where we're gonna have to pick the movies ourselves. Like, this is what we're reviewing, and you guys have to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because What We Do in the Shadows is one of them. But let me tell you, that humor isn't for everyone.
No, it's not.
So I get why a lot of people might see that movie and be like, "What the hell are you making me watch?" But I just found it so funny and so ingenious. It was just a really funny way of showing, you know, the vampire life, like kind of like real world style. I thought that was so great, man. I love that movie.
And one of the with Popstar, I mean, this kind of shows it's trend, which was that this is one of the biggest bombs ever, or most well-known bombs ever, because nobody went to see this film at all, and it got made no money. But there's a cult following behind it that people love it who have seen it.
And, who have seen it. Yeah, exactly.
Based on the poll, that is still true because Popstar didn't receive a single vote. So if you guys watch Popstar, let us know. It's one of the funniest movies you'll see. Like, everyone's firing on all cylinders. They're all putting so much into it. And the music
it's so bizarre. That movie is like way out there, man. I think What We Do in the Shadows is way out there, but this is another one that it took me a while to see Popstar. I wanted to see it. I wouldn't pay for it, to be completely honest with you.
There you go.
I was like, I'm not gonna go pay to see this movie. But when it was finally out, I think I saw it when it was like on HBO or you know, it finally landed on cable, and I sat down and I was cracking up watching this movie. It's really funny, and it has some bizarre shit in it.
I saw it in theaters with one other person, and that was
really?
that was in the theater. And I remember I didn't like it the first time I saw it, and then I watched it again. I'm like, okay, this movie's pretty amazing. That's I'm so humble that plays at the beginning with Adam is so catchy. I love that song. So, but we're not talking about those films. We're talking about Game Night. When you first saw Game Night, were you surprised? Were you happy? Like, what was your expectations going in, and then your thoughts coming out?
Both. I'm a big fan of comedy films. I love comedy. It's probably one of my favorite genres, to be completely honest with you. But comedy, just like everything else, I guess, but it's a lot of hit and miss. And I felt like we hadn't had a good comedy in a while. That really stand out. I actually put one of the ones from no, I'm lying to you, because Nice Guys came out in 2016, right? This came out in 2018. Yeah, never mind. So I remember this movie came out with something else that just was not on this level. It was something else. Blockers came out around the
like
same
2 months after.
Yeah, around the same time as Game Night, and I thought Blockers was terrible. That movie I did not like that movie, man. It maybe had like one thing that made me laugh in the whole hour and 30 or hour and 40, whatever it is. Anyways, so Game Night, I was hyped, but I didn't really watch the trailer, to be completely honest with you. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because if you go back and watch the trailer, it shows a lot. The trailer, it's one of these movies that it shows a lot of what's going on. And going blind into this movie like I did just made that experience so much better. All right. So I was surprised because I knew Bateman had the chops, and obviously I like Rachel McAdams, Kyle Chandler. I like them, but Bateman, when I was, my hope and my reasoning to go see this movie was Jason Bateman because of what he did with Horrible Bosses, you know?
Oh, that's one I should have put on the list. I love that.
No. It was between for me Horrible Bosses and Game Night, and we chose Game Night. I feel like Game Night should be talked about. I feel like Horrible Bosses is underrated, but not really. Like, people still will mention that over Game Night, and that's why I ended up picking between the two films that I told you.
Horrible Bosses has some of the best lines I've
Oh,
heard
it
in
does.
any film.
And
I like the
Colin,
Bender over Barrel and
from Colin Farrell. And the other reasons why is because we don't really talk about Spacey, and Spacey's in the film, and so that's
it's still great though. We'll get to that one day.
yeah, no, definitely. But this movie was a pleasant surprise, and I was very happy that it made me feel the way that it did because. Again, we had and this movie came out pretty early in the year. I think it came out like around February, right? Yeah. But yeah, I just the whole, and they've been doing this a lot lately with the whole it's a comedy, but they throw a little action in it because this movie has it does have some action in it where it takes this bizarre turn, but it wasn't like that movie. What's that movie with ScarJo, man? That sucked.
Johansson?
Yeah. It's kind of
Rough Night.
Rough Night, exactly.
Yeah.
Where it just went, two on one side, and I felt like this was a good balance where it was a little kooky, but it still remained grounded, still remained fun. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the whole cast just works off each other so well. That whole bit with him and with the blood. That I love all that, man. That this is Bateman being him because he's such a dry humor character.
His style of acting is one of my favorite. It's what I would do if I was acting. It's to say what the audience is thinking and call out how ridiculous it is at all moments. Like I remember in Ozark, there's this moment where a bunch of guys come busting into his office, and he's like, "So what? This part, you take me? You're gonna kill me? I mean, what are we doing? Why are you just staring at me? What's going?" Just calls out what everyone's thinking. That's what I love about Jason Bateman. But I want to point out that you brought up blockers, and this year, 2018, there was 3 big comedies that came out that were trying to do different things, and it was Game Night, it was Blockers, and it was Tag.
Yeah.
They were all so I thought Game Night is super smart, which we'll get into. I thought Blockers wasn't very funny. I thought Blockers was trying to do the same thing Game Night was, and Game Night just far surpassed it. And then Tag was more of a physical comedy thing, and that one worked really well for me.
I like Tag. I know Steve, if he's in the chat, he's gonna start shitting on Tag because he hates this movie. But I enjoyed myself in Tag.
Tag's funny. I would say I went back and watched Blockers again through the perspective of another genre. And it worked a lot better. Don't watch it as a comedy. Watch it as a coming-of-age film, and you'll be surprised at how much you'll start to enjoy that film. Which is why I think so many people loved it to start.
Really?
So, to get back, yes. Getting back to Game Night though, what I love about this film is it's Bateman and it's McAdams, but the supporting cast makes it feel like an ensemble. And it's all people that we've maybe seen like in 1 or 2 movies, but in this film, they are firing all cylinders. Billy Magnuson, who plays the idiot Ryan.
He plays Ryan, yeah.
Amazing.
He really is, man.
So good, man. He brings all these Instagram models every single week to Game Night. The biggest idiots. I put down some notes of things that happened throughout the film that made me laugh. Whenever Rachel McAdams is trying to remove the bullet from Jason Bateman's arm, and she sees the bone, she starts making throat noises.
Yeah.
And Bateman does it too. That always works for me. That entire scene works for me. It's just so smart because she takes the squeaky toy and puts it in his mouth. Because then
that for me is one of the and that's in the trailer. And I didn't see. I saw that for the first time while watching the movie. But then I rewatched the trailer. I'm like, man, that is one funny scene. They should have kept that out. That's one of the. It
still works though. Like the whole alt-right militia website that she's on, it's just this scroll with her nose. And she's like, "Wait, what's that?" And she's tapping his arm. Oh, that's the exit wound, honey.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Another shout out, not to cut you off, but Kevin and Michelle, the black couple in the movie, they were amazing.
So they have
that whole thing that they have going on with the one night stand
celebrity.
It's so good, man. It works because I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship where you have that one off. What if you meet this person? Is it okay? Mm-hmm. I've had it. I've had this conversation, And I love how when they discuss it, and then the reveal at the end for me was the biggest payoff ever. As a guy, I'm like, yes, it just works so well, man. So
and he has Lamar Morris is his name. He has a
yeah.
great Denzel Washington impression. So
No,
like
he does. The
whole
absolutely. It's
circumstance
fantastic.
of throughout the first half of him trying to guess who she slept with, and he goes to Tommy Lee Jones and he goes to Bob Thornton. It's funny, man. And then when he's standing on top of like they're trying to get out of the room
and then he throws another name out there, right? What does he say?
He throws out Denzel right there. She doesn't call him Denzel. And he goes, well, that's good, because if it was Denzel, he wouldn't have shit on me. Like throwing out the training name on it.
Yeah.
Funny. What else? So one of my favorite moments is the at the beginning when they're doing not charades, but it's like you have a clue and you have to try to get the room to guess what that clue is without them saying it. And Jason Bateman pulls out Ed Norton, and he's like, all right, Annie, we met this guy at the airport 8 years ago. Famous guy. Who was it? She's like, who? And she doesn't have no idea. And he goes, all right, damn it, Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk. Mark Ruffalo.
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, no, dude. What was I gonna say? Another huge standout for me in this movie because it worked so well was Jesse Plemons.
Yes. So he's the MVP. He's my MVP.
Yeah, hands down the MVP in this film. It just works, and it's crazy because you've seen Breaking Bad, correct? Mm-hmm. I think that's the first time that everybody saw him was as Todd, the sick, cynical son of a bitch of Breaking Bad. And we see him in this movie, and he's just, he's so creepy.
He's so weird, but
he's weird. But it's so good, man. And he works it, man. He works it. I love his character in this movie. Everything, even at the end, just all his little bits work for me. Like he is definitely the MVP of the film for me.
I think him and Jason Bateman bounce off each other so well that it works. Like, and they have the best interactions, I think, of the entire film. Like when they come Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams go walking to their house, and Gary's standing right there petting his dog, and Gary goes, 3 bags of Tostito scoops. Like, yeah, they had a 3-for-1 sale. That can't be profitable for Frito-Lay.
yeah, no, that's why. And everything, he's just so on top of everything. And they're trying to play. It's so good, man.
And then the scene where Kyle Chandler comes pulling up in the car, and he looks over to the house, and Gary's not there. And he looks back at Kyle Chandler and looks back over at the house, and Gary's still there. And he says what we're not thinking of, but is so obvious, is still in the uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still in the uniform. This crazy guy. So. And then when they go to Gary midway through this film, they go to his house because they want to use his computer, his police computer. And they go and Gary invites them in, but doesn't really invite them in. He kind of just steps to the side until he's out of the frame. And they're like, should we go in? Billy, or not Billy, whatever his name is. He's like, Ryan, you go in first. I'm scared. No, like stuff like that.
Yeah, they're all like freaking out and all that. Oh my God. Yeah, man. No. And that also with the, fuck, man, it escaped my memory right now. Well, when they're in his house and the whole bit with the dog. Oh my God, man! The
blood dripping from his arm. The dog goes. It's so funny.
But I feel like this movie needs to be seen. I mean, it's pretty popular. Obviously, it got the vote, which I didn't think it was gonna get the vote. But I remember not a lot of people saw it.
It came out about 2 weeks before Black Panther, and that's where it got kind of overlooked. But it made its budget back, and it was profitable because people were seeing Black Panther, but this film was like that counter program. People kept going back to see Game Night, like, oh, I heard that movie's pretty funny, and then go from 10 million one weekend to 8 million the next weekend to like 7.5, and it gradually just held on a little bit. And
I actually saw it twice. I saw it twice in the theater because I enjoyed myself and I wanted to see it again, so I went to go check it out. So.
It holds up really well.
It did. I hadn't seen it since the theater, and I saw it this week, and I thought the same. I'm like, man, this movie holds up, dude. This is a good film. So I definitely enjoyed it.
And I think something else we should talk about is Jonathan Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who are the directors of this film. They are smart human beings, and they put their style on this from the beginning to make this film, from its wide angle shots, look like a game board. Like when they're going into the houses, it looks like the Game of Life. And
Oh yeah.
that's a
That was
direct
awesome.
choice that works really well. And then I don't know if you noticed the car chase scenes. There's two of them in this film. They put the camera on a truck behind the car and they follow it, and it looks like like they're on a steady cam on a truck behind the car. It works very well. Like I've never seen a chase scene done that way. So
Yeah.
they
They were supposed to do the Flashpoint film.
yeah,
Right.
and they're gone too. Like they left.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's gone for Flashpoint. What surprised me was I remember when I was doing my homework about them, they directed Vacation, which was like a snooze fest for me. I thought that movie was especially being a fan of the Vacation films. I thought this new Vacation was garbage. You know. So
they also wrote a big film. They wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Homecoming, yeah, they wrote Homecoming,
which I could feel their style on it.
No, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So that seeing what they did with this, and because they were still attached to Flashpoint when they wrote Homecoming.
Yeah.
So that's what hyped me up. That I'm like, man, they came off a successful Game Night, and they had written already. Because Homecoming came out in 2017, so they had wrote Homecoming, directed this. I'm like, all right, they're those are two great projects. So I was kind of hyping. I was a little hyped with the them being attached to Flashpoint, even though I was completely against the idea of Flashpoint. But if they were gonna do something, and I liked, again, Flash, as much as he fucks everything up, he's a very Barry Allen can be a very funny character. So if they write him like witty and all that, and they're writers, so they were probably gonna write the film as well.
Yeah. Well, now Ezra Miller wants to write the film, so. We'll see what happens with that. What else do we have? What's your favorite scene in this film?
I said it already, man. The squeaky toy with the blood, man. That's hands down my favorite film. I love the reveal of the Bulgarian. I like that cameo, to be completely honest with you. Me being a big fan of his. I don't even want to spoil it. It's not that big, but I don't even want to say who it is. But I thought that was a lot of fun. But my favorite scene, hands down, is that scene makes me laugh, and it just never fails to make me laugh. And you brought up the good point of her scrolling with her nose and all that. Like I absolutely adore that scene. Can you hear me?
Okay, I would probably I can hear you.
Right.
I can probably go with. There's so many that stand up to the whole sequence inside of who they thought was Bulgarian's house, where they find the egg in there and they find out Rich People Fight Club exists.
Oh yes, the Rich People Fight Club. Yes, dude, that's awesome scene too. That's an awesome.
They're tossing the egg everywhere, and it's what's filmed like a wonder, which works really well in this, and everyone gets involved, and they're just tossing it everywhere. And then when it finally reveals at the end that the egg. They hit the brakes and the egg goes flying out of Jason Bateman's head. I know that it's fake. And he's I think it was Lamar Morris. He sees the sticker. It says "Made in China," and Billy's character in the back goes, "Do you think it's the sticker that was just made in China?" And his girlfriend goes, "Let's just let them talk."
Yeah, she's already like tired of his shit. It's so fucking funny. No, I also really like the beginning. When the games begin or whatever, and Jason Bateman's just calling out like, "Oh, this is good, this is BS," like not knowing that everything that's going down is actually real.
Oh, when they're having that fight inside of Kyle Chandler's mansion.
Yes, dude. Yeah. I love, and that's all props to Bateman, just the way that he acts and the way that he is, because like you said, he says things that we're thinking. And since he hates his brother so much or whatever, that he's just like, yeah, whatever. This is just a typical thing that he's gonna do or whatever. So I that all worked for me, man. I really like that movie.
On the Rewatchables podcast, they have this award called the Dion Waiters Award, which is basically a guy comes in and just shoots the lights out for a couple minutes and then is gone, like he's just a sharpshooter. I think that could be so many options in this film because, like I said, the entire supporting cast is fantastic. You could give it to Jesse Plemons. I think one that stands out is Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright
Oh
steps
yeah,
into like a scene.
yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And then same thing with Michael or whatever his name is. I don't want to reveal it because
Yeah, yeah, no, you. I'm like, yeah.
he
I mean, the movie came out 2 years ago. It's fine, but I always like that. That's always been kind of like a surprise cameo for people that haven't seen it.
yeah.
Because he had a major show. So I remember when I saw him, I'm like, man, I was just happy to see him on screen again because it had been a while,
And Danny Houston's also in this film.
Danny Houston as well, absolutely.
Do you have any memorable lines from this film? Because I can give you one that's my favorite that I think of. Anytime someone says this one, this is the line that I think of.
Go ahead.
Glass tables are acting weird tonight. They subvert our expectations so much in this film. Like every time someone gets thrown on a glass table, it doesn't break. And another instance where this happens, or that they subvert our expectations, is when Rachel McAdams is hiding by the conveyor belt, and that big guy with the gun is standing at the end of the conveyor belt with a box on top of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, charade it to me," and then they hit the button. It's just a slow conveyor belt. It's really good.
That part is so funny.
And
yeah,
then,
no. That part is funny as hell.
Rachel McAdams is like I hadn't expected her to be this funny in a film. I thought she was like carrying the film for a little bit until the rest of the cast shows up. Because Bateman's great in everything he does, but Rachel McAdams was, to me, like I don't know, like I just never expected this performance out of her before, and she's awesome. Like when she's doing the whole Pac-Man cameo. She like bounces off the Pac-Man cameo. She's like, so you think that if we have a kid that you'll never win at the leaderboard of life?
I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm actually a big fan of McAdams, and I feel like she doesn't get mentioned very often because she hasn't done a lot of projects lately.
No.
But I completely fell in love with her when I saw her in Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
Like everything about her character and I remember having the biggest crush on her when I saw that. Then obviously with the Notebook, because I think Notebook came out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Notebook came out before Wedding Crashers, but I saw Wedding Crashers first. I didn't see Notebook until later. And then I pretty much try to check out things that she's in. About Time is another movie of hers that I really, really dig, and I feel like a lot of people don't see or talk about that movie enough. But this role for her was completely different than anything that I had mentioned. It just worked, man. The chemistry between her and Bateman, her comedic timing was off the chain too. So props to her in this movie, man. I really, really I dug it, man. I really liked this movie, and it was fun. I was kind of happy that it won. I personally, out of everything that I picked, I wanted to review The Nice Guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like The Nice Guys is more underrated than this movie is. I don't feel like and I just found out, and I had no idea. Ethan Irwin from the Schmodown produced The Nice Guys.
Okay, so
yeah, I had no idea. I just found out. Yeah, so I just found out about that.
All right, final question then: who won the movie?
I mean, the MVP did, man. Jesse Plemons, yeah, dude, yeah. I mean, as much as I liked Bateman and the all-star cast, I feel like I wanted more of him in this film, and we had a lot of him, but I wanted more because his character just worked for me, and every time that he was on screen, I couldn't help but smile, but get creeped. He was just great, man. Like every scene with him, especially at the end, man. The ending scene with the shit that goes down with him made me laugh so hard.
Yeah,
even
like you said, the end credits where they show the entire plan. It's a great way to explain everything, and it's a great directorial choice. Which brings me to who I think won the movie, which were the directors, Francis Daly and Goldstein. I think this movie puts their names on the map. Once they get signed on to do a big project again, everyone's be like, "Oh, the guys from Game Night, or the guys from Spider-Man." Yeah, of course. Like
it's an automatic win.
It
Absolutely.
is. I would love to see them do like a Mandalorian episode, or even even a funny TV show in Star Wars. I think they could knock out of the park, or even just another comedy. Like do another comedy, guys, because I really like your style.
Which funny you bring that up, and I know we're talking about the movie, but we can go back very quickly to news. Taika
Yeah,
directing.
yeah,
You know, we dropped the ball there, man. But hey, how excited are you? You
dude.
know.
So it's either Villeneuve or
All right,
Taika
wait.
Waititi.
Before we start game night, we recommend it. Thanks for making us watch it. We're gonna go
Game
back
Night's
to
a fantastic film. I'm glad you guys
yeah.
picked it. And when I said at the beginning, I was surprised. I really meant it was a pleasant surprise because I was really happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you
Yeah.
guys. But let's get to this big news real quick.
Yeah, man, we slipped, man. We slipped. And if you hadn't said your name, it would have slipped. And it's funny because we mentioned a Taika movie, What We Do in the Shadows. We didn't even mention that he's directing the next Star Wars film, dude.
Which is insane because I mean he directed the last episode of The Mandalorian, which was the best episode.
The best episode, hands down the best episode.
And he starred in it as IG-11, which was one of the best characters of the entire series. And now they're handing him a Star Wars film. I cannot think of a better choice than Taika Waititi. So, like I was just saying, there's two directors that are fighting for my favorite working right now. It's Denis Villeneuve and it's Taika Waititi. To give Taika Waititi a Star Wars film, it's just like a dream come true. His humor isn't everything he does, but also he knows how to walk that line of ridiculousness to where he's never poking fun at something; he's poking fun with something, just bringing to light something that's ridiculous. And he also knows when to bring the drama when it's needed. It's something like in Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit is a very serious subject matter, but he walks that line without being offensive at all. And it's like I said, that was my favorite film of last year. So yeah, Taika Waititi doing Star Wars. Take my money right now. Oh, did I lose you?
That pitch for JoJo, that pitch for JoJo must have been really hard. Like they had to really trust him because for him to pitch like, hey, did you?
Oh, looks like we lost Jader for a second. I'm still here, guys. I think he's gonna pop back in a second. But yeah, Taika Waititi doing Star Wars. It's such a crazy thing. And then Monday was May the 4th. So that's National Star Wars Day. And we finally got actual Star Wars news on that day. So I'm really happy about that. Taika Waititi's coming in. We also have that Mandalorian documentary that's happening right now. Apparently, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars are really fantastic. So, yeah, a lot of Star Wars news happening right now, guys. And it looks like Jader's coming back in. Jader, you there?
It's crazy. Yeah, no, I was seeing you, but yeah, no. To follow, no, what I was saying was, it worked really well. I know we have guys on our website that don't feel the same about the film, but I felt like even pitching that movie, that we're gonna have this movie about an imaginary boy. I mean, imagine a young boy that idolizes Hitler, and Hitler. I guarantee you, Hollywood was like, well, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then just him revealing what the end game, obviously, of the film is probably what greenlit it. But I love how he takes all these unique projects, with the exception of Thor not being unique. But even Thor, improvement off the first two, and we weren't bashing. Oh, we were bashing the second one, but the first one, overall, I think the general census, we do like that movie. Just Thor 3 for me, it was just up there.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much on the same boat with you with Taika. Like, he hasn't made a film that I don't like.
No.
I like every one of his films so far. He doesn't have a bad film for me. Now they're not for humor. So hearing him attached to Star Wars, I don't think there's a better person, especially what we saw in Thor Ragnarok with him, you helping, going, you to another, other planets and so on and so forth. And when we did what he did in Mandalorian, I'm completely on board, man. I'm super excited. In a while, I think I'm more hyped about him being director than when I first heard about Abrams taking Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I think my expectations.
All right. So, yeah, I can
Hello?
see you. I can see you. I lost you for a little bit. It's a little shaky. So I feel like that means it's time.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. I feel like it's time to start wrapping up, though. So, Jader, do you have any last things you want to say? Anything last things you want to plug? What's going on for you? Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. All right, so I'm just gonna wrap up the show, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please tune in, comment. We'll be back next week. We're gonna have another film to talk about. Be tuned in for our MCU rankings next week. Jade, are you back? Can you hear me? I'm not getting you. All right. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week on the Jader and Kyle show.